Well, the updates are that two of the big names who are still on a street corner are now in camp and might even play this weekend. Ezekiel Elliott, the legendary Dallas Cowboy, who many thought might go back to the Star on a reduced contract, instead winds up going to a team that needs him. And he's going to make a big impact, I think, in New England. I think Zeke running it, and that's the history of Belichick, as power ball, and you get the quarterback to make plays. Ezekiel, I still think, has got gas left in the tank. He's only 28. He's had only one major injury. So Zeke is in New England. That's a pretty good acquisition, fairly affordable contract. They had cap space. It'll wind up being, if Zeke has a Zeke year, it's going to wind up being 1 year about $8 million. Dalvin Cook, and I just don't understand what they're doing in Minnesota, why they let this guy go. But Dalvin Cook has now joined the New York Jets, and he teams up with Aaron Rodgers and the new wide receiver, Alan Lazard, and all the new pieces and all the healthy pieces in the offensive front. And he can run it, and he can catch it. And his deal, he took a pay cut to go to the Jets, but the guy's, he's still got time left on his clock to punch in. You know, he might have a 1,500, 1,800 all-purpose yard season, because that's the kind of numbers he rang up with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. Still out on a street corner, Josh Jacobs. This Raiders situation's not moving at all, not getting any better. He refuses to sign the franchise tag. They offered him a 1-year deal worth $13 million to come in, which was above the $10 million franchise tag. He said no. So, I mean, a rumor mill around the league, and I find it hard to believe the Raiders would lift the franchise tag. Go ahead. You're a free agent. You leave. You're not going to get this money anywhere else, and get started late in the calendar. I mean, I think it's a stupid move. You know, the last big-time producing running back that did this kind of junk was Le'Veon Bell, Pittsburgh Steelers, who had a group of really good years running the ball, catching the ball, and then he got involved in a contract dispute. And if you're not going to pay me, I'm not going to play here. I'm going to sit out. He sat out. He finally came back with a year's rust on him. He was never, ever the same, and now he's out of the NFL. Last we saw doing mixed martial arts fights and getting knocked out in a ring. Yeah, I mean, so don't give up your career and walk away thinking I can stand and I can change the NFL. You can't. The Jacobs thing, he was a high pick out of Alabama, a lot of expectations, but he kind of suffered the same fate that Derek Carr suffered. He went into a situation, it was a mess around him. And he didn't play, he didn't dominate early. He had a phenomenal season last year, but that's the first good season he's had in a 4-year run. So I don't know how they're going to solve it. I mean, I think the Raiders would be stupid to just lift the tag and let him walk. But he's stupid if he doesn't come back for the $13 million they offered. I mean, I understand they're angry. They want multi-year deals for the security. What happens if I get hurt? But, come back and prove yourself. And you can come back. Yeah, I mean, if you want to bet on yourself, that's fine. You come back and say, I'll come back and play for the 13, but you have to put a clause in the contract. You can't franchise tag me next season.
Yeah.
I go on the open market. That's the way you solve it. But neither side's willing to give an inch.
What do you think of Dalvin Cook going to the Jets with Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, well, because he's ideal for that. I mean, Rodgers throws down the field. Rodgers throws out in the flat. That's where the running back is. This guy runs. He's fast. He's dart dash, physical. He's had a really, really good career. Now, he had a major shoulder injury, but he's green light go. He's 100% healthy, and I still think there's miles left on those tires, maybe more mileage than Ezekiel Elliott has. I think it's good acquisitions by both teams.
Well, what about the Cowboys? Who's their starting running back?
Well, Tony Pollard, a young guy that they franchise tag, but he's coming off surgery. Now, they think he'll be ready by opening day, and he did have a breakout season last year when Zeke was bothered by knee problems, and the year before that, as a role player, he made a lot of things happen, run on the ball, etc. But he's not the physical talent that Zeke is in terms of bulk and toughness and be able to take the hits. He's more of a, out to the edge guy and speed guy once he gets to the second level. So, but that's the decision. They didn't want to keep Ezekiel Elliott for $10.8 million, I think it was. And then Zeke said, I'm not taking a pay cut. And he wound up getting released. Now if he has a Zeke season, maybe it'll be 1 year, $8 million total.
Yeah, the running back marketplace is very different than it used to be some time ago. They seem to be interchangeable pieces. Let's see what happens.
On we go. This